How y'all doing, everybody? This is Ray, RebelEars.com, with another episode of the Rebel Ears Podcast. And today we're going to be talking about public speaking. Now, have you ever been in a situation where you have to talk to a big crowd, spur of the moment? Maybe your boss told you, hey, there's a speaking engagement that I want you to be a part of. Or, you might be a panelist speaking at an event and you're trying to figure out ways to prepare yourself, because I'm going to give you 10 ways to prepare for being a public speaker, because a lot of people need to, adapt to changes, and these are going to be very simple for you to understand, and I'll give you examples too. So let's go ahead and go on the lines of how to prepare yourself to be a public speaker. Now, number one is to practice. Regularly practice speaking in front of an audience, or even by yourself. You can join a club to practice speaking in front of an audience, or, where you're at home, get in front of a mirror, look at your posture. What are you going to be talking about? Is this something that's going to benefit you? Is it going to be something that's benefit others? But you want to make sure that whatever you're talking about is something that people can engage and be involved in. But like I said, it's practice, practice, practice. Especially if you want to be one of those speakers who make up to $100,000 an hour, or even 2 hours, depending on what they're talking about. But there's a lot of people making money just from speaking to a big crowd. But, that's their profession, and it took them time to get to where they at. Now, number two, know your audience. Understand your audience and tailor your speech to their interests and needs. An example, before giving a speech at a business conference, research the attendees and tailor your speech to the industry and current challenges. So, good example, I'm an audio engineer. If I'm going to an audio engineer event, of course, they're talking about the latest equipment, the latest plug-in in the DAW, or new equipment that's coming out in the near future. You want someone who is experienced in whatever you're discussing. They have knowledge on the speaking engagement. You don't just want to walk into a situation and don't really know how to engage, because that's the biggest thing. If you can engage with your audience, it'll make it easier for you to give a great speech, especially if it's something that is an interest of yours. You don't want to put yourself in a situation where you don't do research, and then when you're on stage, you're just looking at the crowd like, I do not know what to talk about. So, like I said, know your audience. Do your research on the event so you can be prepared, which goes to number three, prepare. So, create an outline and memorize key points, but also be flexible and able to improvise. The example is outline your main points and rehearse your speech several times, but be ready to adjust on the fly based on audience reaction. Just like a comedian, when you have hecklers in the audience, you got to be able to adapt to the situation. You don't just want to have a heckler just laughing at you the whole event and you're just nervous like, I don't know what to do. That's why you should prepare yourself. You should brainstorm. Take, the Pomodoro technique. Take 20 minutes out of your day to literally spend 20 minutes on that one task on, okay, I have this speaking engagement in the next couple of weeks. Let me spend 20 minutes just to brainstorm on what I'm going to discuss. And then after brainstorming the outline, you can target key points and, be flexible so you can improvise what's needed. But like I said, you don't just want to stick line for line, because there's going to be a situation where you might have to answer a question, or you might have someone in the audience that might be, questioning something that you might be saying, and you just want to make sure that you prepare for any situation that comes up that you have to address. Number four, use body language, eye contact, and tone of voice to engage the audience and hold their attention. An example, you can use gestures, change your tone, and make eye contact with you can use gestures, change your tone, and make eye contact with the audience members to keep them interested in your speech. You don't just want to look down or read off a piece of paper or look up, not even in the crowd. You want to make sure you're engaging by looking, making eye contact. Like, one thing you want to do, you want to sweep the crowd just so you can catch every single person. You want to make it look like you're talking to that one person, that person right in front of you, that person to the left, the person up top. You want to engage. And sometimes that needs to be practiced. Just like I was saying, use the mirror to look at your body language. Are you, tight? Are you fiddling your fingers? What are you doing with your hands? It's all about fluid motions on how you engage, especially when you doing a presentation. You want to make sure that your body language doesn't show that you're nervous. You want your body language to show like, okay, okay, I have confidence in what I'm saying. And then the eye contact is like, I'm talking to you. This is all about you. I know there's a lot of people, but I'm looking at you. And then your voice. You want to practice your tone to make sure that what you say doesn't sound like you're not sure. You want to make sure if you engage with the audience, you hold their attention. Because let's say if a door-to-door salesman, what do? They have great body language, they make eye contact, and their voice is engaging. It sounds, believable. It sounds like they're trying to be your best friend to sell this one thing. So, engage. Number 5, use visual aids. A lot of events you won't be able to use visual aids, but if you're at an event and you could bring out a poster board or a whiteboard, you can use visual aids such as slides, props, gestures to illustrate your points. Example, use slides to visually display statistics or data, or use props to demonstrate a product. You can use this as a way of engaging with visuals, something that's tangible that people can see, because you could talk all day about what you're going to discuss or what you're trying to give people information on. But if you have a whiteboard and you can draw it out for people to see, okay, point 1, we talking about this. Point 2, we're talking about this. Point 3, we're talking about this. And then they go back to, okay, we just talked about 3, so let's go back to point 1. As y'all can see right here, and visuals will help you, and it can really give you time to take that pause so you can think. And then it can also help you because you could get lost in your thought and you could just look at the board for a quick second and you can pick yourself back up, especially if it's a long engagement. You want something that can help you visually if it's allowed. Number 6, be yourself. That's pretty much it. Be authentic and let your personality shine through. Example, show your sense of humor, share personal stories, incorporate your unique speaking style to engage the audience. I'm very good on, sense of humor. Some people say I have a dry humor, but it's honest. And I have a lot of personal stories depending on the situation, especially when it comes for those who thinking, man, it's all downhill. When I give people the example of the day that my wife and I found out that she was pregnant was the day that her and I got fired. And it was a blessing in a strange way because my wife and I, we both prayed of leaving this job that we've been working together for years. It was right before COVID, and when we got fired, I got hired at this other company within 2 weeks, and then a year and a half goes by, and that's when COVID happened. And the old job that I had where I got fired from, everybody at that job got fired because there was no events happening at this location. So it was a blessing in disguise. And that's a story of, making sure that you always stay focused and driven, having tunnel vision, because finding out that you're about to be a father and both source of income just stop right then and there, finding out you're about to be a father, it's a lot of pressure, but you got to find ways to not let it consume you, which I have done. And that's a good example of, me being myself by being authentic and, letting people know, hey, it's not always going to be good, but it's not always going to be bad. All right. So let's go to number 7, which is be confident. You want to project confidence through your posture, voice, and word choices. Example, stand up straight, speak clearly, at a moderate pace, and choose words that convey confidence and authority. With me, I can project confidence on the way that I stand. A lot of people don't know this, but I have scoliosis, so I have a crooked spine. So I'm very big on working on my posture, standing up straight, making sure that I don't slouch, working on my word choices, reading a dictionary on different words I can use throughout the week. There's apps on your phone that can give you word of the day, and then you incorporate it daily. So, next time you're having a conversation with somebody, you're using all these words and they're like, oh, wow. Oh, they got a big vocabulary. And it can help you even in an interview. You can have an interview with an employer who wants to hire you just by your confidence on your words. And, you want your voice to project that too. You don't just want to use big words that you sounding unsure. So work on your posture, work on your voice, and your word choices on step number 7. Number 8, handle nerves. Find ways to manage stage fright, such as deep breathing or visualization. Now, an example, take deep breaths, visualize a successful presentation, or do some stretching exercising before speaking. I believe in take a deep breath, Now, before I have a meeting with the supervisors at my job, before I walk in, I take one big inhale and one big exhale, because sometimes you can go through multiple meetings throughout the day and it could be stressful, but you want to make sure you come with a clear mind. So sometimes even with a presentation, before you get on stage and get all nervous, you need to and then tell yourself there's going to be a great presentation. Because if you have the mindset of, oh, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, I don't know if they're going to engage with me, I don't know how they're going to feel about this presentation. If you're going to start off like that, most likely it's not going to be a successful presentation. So make sure you set yourself up for success. Walk in with a clear mind and walk in with a clear posture. Yeah, clear posture. I'll go with that, I guess. And then if you need to, because I do a lot of stretching, I don't do it as much as I should. I do it at least every 2 to 3 days. I need to do it daily, but before a presentation, maybe you need to stretch out your ligaments, get your body relaxed, something that can help you to just get prepared. Number 9, rehearse. Rehearse your speech multiple times to fine-tune delivery and timing. Example, record yourself giving a speech and watch it back, or practice in front of a trusted friend or a family member. Now, recording yourself can really help you on your hand gestures, your postures, even your engagement. Like, are you just staring right in the camera, or are you looking around every couple of seconds while you're talking? Are you able to give that delivery, but also working on your timing? I was watching this one video on TikTok where a guy was talking about pauses. Just basically pausing in your speech. The reason why, when you at a fast pace and you're trying to think of what to say, people start saying, and that right there might need to work on your timing from pauses. There's nothing wrong with the right pause in an interview or in a presentation, because it engaged them more, especially when you have a dramatic kind of approach on if you're trying to sell a product. How you going to give an example A and B when A is like this and then you have B? So it's a way of engaging. That's why you need to rehearse multiple times. Don't just, brainstorm, draw out the key points. You have everything prepared. You did all the 8 steps and you forgot to rehearse. And then when you're on stage, you're thinking, oh man, I got everything written down, but I forgot this one point. That's why you want to make sure you rehearse, but not just fine-tuning your delivery, but also fine-tuning your timing. You'll be surprised how timing plays a big part in the engagement, because the right pause can make a person want to buy from you or want to be a part of whatever you got going on. But if you're not comfortable recording yourself, like I said, probably get a trusted friend or a family member, but you want to either do one or the other. You want to at least watch back. So even if you have your friends or family members watching, make sure you record yourself too, so you can judge yourself, because no one knows you like you do. And the last one, number 10, seek feedback. Ask for feedback from trusted friends or colleagues to improve for future presentations. Example, ask a colleague or a mentor to give you constructive feedback on your recent presentation, or ask for a specific area to improve on. Now, when you want constructive feedback, you got to have an open mind, because constructive feedback is there to build you up. That's what it means to be constructive. It could be appreciative feedback, it could be a development feedback, but you want to have constructive criticism. Be open for constructive criticism. And with that, it'll help you to be able to do better on your next presentation. Even like I said in the last tip, rehearse. You can have your friend or your mentor or colleague watching what you recorded. They could give you feedback then and there. So when you do your actual presentation, you're ready to go. So that was 10 quick tips on how to be an engaged public speaker, because there's a lot of events that I've been at and I spoke to a lot of individuals, and it took time for me to get to where I'm at today, where I'm comfortable speaking in front of thousands of people, especially engaging on, depending what we're talking about or discussing. Like I said, I do my research. I make sure to get the key points. I make sure to rehearse. I make sure to work on my posture, work on my tone of voice, work on my eye contact, engagement. I rehearse, I practice. And when you do all this, I promise you, your next presentation will sell out. So from everybody at Rebel Ears, just want to say thank y'all for listening and watching. Keep tuning in.